Hey everyone, you know that feeling, right? That constant pull, the endless stream of notifications, the gnawing sense that you're always busy but not actually doing anything truly important. I certainly do. That's exactly why I picked up this incredible book. Manage your day to day, build your creative habit, focus, and tame your inner critic. It's not just another productivity guide, it's like a friendly intervention for anyone trying to create something meaningful in this crazy, distracted world. The whole premise of the book, put together by Jocelyn K. Guy and the brilliant minds at 1990, really hit home for me. They basically say that for too long we've focused on generating ideas, but we've completely missed the missing curriculum for executing them. Think about what Thomas Edison famously said: genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. This book is all about that 99, the daily grind, the action, the experimentation, even the failing and learning that makes great ideas a reality. Scott Belsky, the founder of Beyonce, sums it up perfectly in the foreword. It's not about ideas. It's about making ideas happen. We're living in a new world constantly buzzing with chirps, pings, and alerts, making it super hard to find that centered space for creativity. So, this book is essentially a playbook of best practices to navigate this new era of work. Now, the book is organized into four main parts, each tackling a crucial skill set. It's packed with insights from a bunch of seasoned thought leaders, people like Seth Godin, Gretchen Rubin, Dan Ariely, and more. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution, because let's be real, your unique strengths and weaknesses mean your perfect routine will be different from mine. But it gives you the tools to figure out your way. So let's dive into some of the big takeaways, because trust me, these are game changers. First up, they talk about building a rock-solid routine. Mark McGinnis, one of the contributors, makes this absolutely critical point: you need to do your creative work first and leave reactive work for later. You know how tempting it is to clear the decks by answering emails first thing in the morning. He says that means you're spending the best part of your day on other people's priorities, and by the time you get to your own important stuff, your energy is already gone. He used to be a frustrated writer until he made the switch, and his biggest successes came from it. It takes willpower, sure, because people might get upset if you don't respond immediately, but as he says, it's better to disappoint a few people over small things than to surrender your dreams for an empty inbox. This really resonated with me. It's about choosing your potential over the illusion of professionalism. And how do you stick to this? Gretchen Rubin talks about the power of frequency. She writes every single day, even on weekends and holidays, sometimes for just 15 minutes. Why? Because frequency makes starting easier, keeps ideas fresh, keeps the pressure off, and sparks creativity. When you work frequently, inspiration actually strikes regularly. It also fosters productivity because you see yourself making progress day by day, which is super reassuring and inspiring. She quotes Anthony Trollope, who said, "A small daily task, if it be really daily, will beat the labors of a spasmodic Hercules." It's about consistency, not just grand, sporadic efforts. Seth Godin echoes this, saying that being a professional means regularly and reliably doing the work in a habitual way, even when you do not feel like it, and especially when you do not feel like it. That's the difference between a hobby and your actual work. Now, a lot of us might be thinking, but I'm so tired all the time. How can I maintain this routine? That brings us to building renewal into your workday. Tony Schwartz shares a relatable story about a creative director named Zeke who was constantly burnt out, always checking emails, squeezing in lunch, and pushing important work to later. The big problem: we treat ourselves like machines, operating continuously at high speeds, but human beings are designed to move rhythmically between spending and renewing energy. We live linear lives, burning out our energy reservoirs without making deposits. The key insights here are that sleep is more important than food. Seriously, even small amounts of sleep deprivation take a significant toll on cognitive capacity, and our bodies follow ultradian rhythms, meaning we can only work at our highest level for about 90 minutes before needing a break. Seek transformed his day by prioritizing sleep, taking short mid-morning breaks, and going for a walk at lunchtime. Leaving his phone at his desk, he found he actually became more productive and less reactive. It's about building renewal into your day, establishing the right rhythms, because then everything in your life works better. Next, the book tackles finding focus in a distracted world. Cal Newport introduces the idea of scheduling focus blocks for creative thinking. This is ingenious. You literally block off a substantial chunk of time in your calendar for your most important creative tasks. Just like any other meeting, if someone tries to schedule something, you can say, "Sorry, I'm already booked." This leverages social norms against the distraction culture. During these blocks, it's crucial: no email, no internet, no phone. Jonathan Franzen, the author, was so serious about this that he destroyed his laptop's Ethernet port with SuperGo and sought to avoid online temptation. That's commitment. The book explains that multitasking isn't real, it's just task switching, and it makes you less skilled and accurate. And everything takes longer. Even just the presence of distractions on your computer, like an open email tab, can eat up your concentration because your brain is resisting the temptation. This is why you need to remove distractions entirely. Another fascinating idea here comes from Dan Ariely, the behavioral economist. He explains why email is such a great temptation system. It's due to random reinforcement. Like a rat hitting a lever, we keep checking email because sometimes there's something exciting there, and that random excitement keeps us hooked. He suggests that managers should even consider blocking email distribution during peak productivity hours. He also talks about ego depletion, where resisting temptations throughout the day uses up mental energy, making us more likely to give in later. This reinforces the idea of doing hard focus work early when your self-control is highest. Erin Rooney Doolan also contributes to this section, talking about learning to create amidst chaos. She suggests using positive distractions to combat negative ones. Like kids in the famous marshmallow test, you can distract yourself with a different, positive activity to help resist the urge to procrastinate. She also highlights that self-control is not genetic, it's a skill you can develop with practice. And crucially, she suggests alternating between mindful, focused, creative, and mindless, simple, administrative activities to give your brain a rest and restore energy. It's like running sprints, not a marathon, with your brain. Moving on, the book dives into taming your tools. This is where Linda Stone introduces the concept of screen apnea. She observed that the vast majority of people hold their breath or breathe very shallowly while in front of a screen, especially when responding to email. This contributes to chronic stress, throwing off our biochemistry and triggering a fight or flight response, which makes us more impulsive and compulsive, reaching for every available resource, like constantly checking our phones. She calls for conscious computing, where we learn to breathe properly and mindfully engage with technology. This isn't about blaming technology, it's about how we use it. James Victor, another contributor, talks about reclaiming our self-respect. He argues that we've let technology get its hook so deep into us that we no longer question the relationship. We've lost the distinction between what's urgent and what's important, constantly prioritizing other people's needs over our own. He's not anti-technology, but he warns against using it as a crutch that makes our mental muscles atrophy. He reminds us that we shape our tools, and thereafter our tools shape us. It's about taking ownership of your time and making an investment in your life. Tiffany Shlain, a filmmaker, even shares her family's practice of a technology Shabbat. Every Friday night, they turn off every screen, phones, TV, computers, and stay offline until after sunset on Saturday. She says it's like hitting the reset button on her sense of balance, making her feel more present and creative. It's a powerful ritual to regain control over their attention. Finally, we get to sharpening your creative mind. This chapter reminds us that it's not all about brute force. You need play, relaxation, and exploration for insights. Ty Henry introduces unnecessary creation, making something just for yourself, not for a client or paycheck. He argues that this allows you to explore new possibilities, take risks, and develop new skills in a low-pressure environment, which ultimately feeds back into your paid work. It helps you discover your unique voice and reconnect with the intrinsic desire to create. Scott McDowell suggests training your mind for insight by embracing disengagement, wondering, and rest. He also highlights how limitations and constraints can be catalysts for creativity. Think about Frank Lloyd Wright, who said humanity built most nobly when limitations were greatest. It gives your brain something concrete to grip onto. Stefan Zedmeister, the designer, uses a trick to fool the brain out of thinking and repetition by looking at a problem from a totally different, unrelated point of view. And for all the perfectionists out there, raise his hand. Elizabeth Gray Saunders tackles letting go of perfectionism. She distinguishes between the creative perfectionist approach, which leads to enormous stress and procrastination, and the creative pragmatist approach. A pragmatist understands that the first draft is messy, defies finish from the start, and appreciates feedback. She stresses that aiming for less than perfect can actually lead to far more and far better work with much less stress. Mark McGuinness also returns to talk about getting unstuck, reminding us that even the greats get creative blocks. He offers solutions for different types of blocks, and inspiration drought might just mean you need a break. Like Mark Twain did for 2 years with Tom Sawyer, an emotional barrier might require giving yourself permission to create privately. Mixed motivations like chasing money over passion can stifle creativity, and even poverty or presentation problems can be overcome by making a virtue of necessity and focusing on communication skills. Finally, Stephen Pressfield brings it all together with How Pro Can You Go? He outlines levels of professionalism, from simply being able to sit down and work for an hour stage 1, to repeating their work daily stage 2, to actually finishing a project stage 3, and ultimately building a career. He emphasizes that a true professional shows up every day, plays hurt, and takes neither success nor failure personally. It's about cultivating a practice that becomes simpler and less self-oriented over time, surrendering to your gift. So what's the big takeaway for us today? In a world that constantly pulls at our attention, where convenience often trumps long-term value, this book is a powerful reminder that we hold both the problem and the solution to our day-to-day challenges. Your mind and energy are yours alone. You can audit your work habits, redefine your routines, and push your incredible ideas to completion. It's about being proactive, not reactive, and owning your creative process. My advice to you, my friend, don't wait for inspiration. Create a framework for it. Start with small changes. Maybe it's blocking out 30 minutes tomorrow for focus work before you check a single email. Maybe it's leaving your phone outside your bedroom at night. Or maybe it's just committing to a small, unnecessary creation project just for you every week. Because when you start intentionally designing your day, when you take charge of your day-to-day, that's when you truly make an impact in what matters most to you. It's a marathon, not a sprint, but every small, consistent step forward is a victory. This book isn't just about managing your time, it's about reclaiming your creative life.